Hi everyone, welcome to M&N React. I'm M.
I'm N.
And today we're going to be watching Murderbot episode 8. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
Alright, N, what'd you think of last week?
I'm worried a little bit. I think a lot of people thought that last week's episode was perhaps the weakest of the season. And I didn't really have a big problem with last week's episode per se, but it was really just another episode where they kind of filled it with a lot of, I guess you can kind of call it quirky or comedic moments. Mm-hmm. And there's just been so much of that in the past 3 or 4 episodes that I feel like it's taking away, at least for me, it's taking me out of the story a little bit, you know? And I've said this now, I think 2 or 3 times, but it is really hard to combine comedy with really any other element in, you know, when you're doing movies or shows. And some types of media do it really well. Some shows do a great job of it, and others don't. And I feel like so far Murderbot has done, it's kind of been mixed results. Like some of the stuff has landed. Like the first few episodes, I thought it was great. I thought that the tenor of the show was kind of fresh and interesting, but then it just seemed, especially with Labibi, I think that's when it really kind of turned a little bit for me. It was just so exaggerated that it took me out of the world a little bit. Like, I don't mind some comedy, but it takes me out of these like really serious situations that they're in. And I think now, after having a few episodes of that, it's kind of affecting the way I view the show. Still like it, but
yeah. So a couple things about what you had just said. It's interesting that Labibi is the point that it kind of turned for you, because from all the comments that we saw, that seems to be the point where it strayed from the books. Yeah. That's the part where it came up with something that is outside of like the canon story. So it's interesting that that's kind of when it feels like it maybe went off the rails a little bit. The other thing, and we had kind of talked about this off camera, but initially we were actually really excited about the 30-minute episodes because, you know what? Everybody's busy. It's kind of nice to just have something quick to watch. And, you know, the first were fast-paced, but you felt like you were getting the story. You were getting all of these things. And I feel like as the season's gone on, it's actually detrimental that it's 30 minutes because they're trying to cram so much in there. But in doing so, they're kind of losing the thread of the main story by throwing all these other aspects in there, which may come into play, you know, in future seasons, and or, you know, they think that the comedic storyline is really going to be what's pushing this forward. I think that it could actually benefit from slightly longer episodes. I'd be interested to see if it's something they would consider moving forward, depending on what the reception is to this season. Kind of get, you know, just get some more story in there, get some more time to flesh out all these aspects that they have thrown in there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that's probably part of it, because we say it almost every episode. We'll start the episode, and then before you know it, the credits screen appears, right? Mm-hmm. So when they populate the episode with a few minutes of just, yeah, it's not nonsense, I get it, it's like character building, but like when they dedicate script and screen time to a lot, I mean, it seems like they're building scenes around jokes that, at least for me, aren't hitting, right? And when you're working with like 20 minutes, you're wasting really like 10% of the show, 15-20% of the episode on stuff that isn't landing for me. So yeah, you know, and again, this isn't a 5-alarm fire. We still like the show. Absolutely. But it is, I think, teetering a little bit for me. Now, I will say one more thing. From a lot of the again, we haven't read the books, but from a lot of the comments, they said that the books really didn't define, at least maybe the first one, like didn't really define the character's personality a lot. And in the books, a lot of the, I guess, exposition is really just Murderbot thinking to itself. about things. And I think, at least if I was tasked with making this adaptation, I think that would be really hard to do that, right? So I think that the writers are trying to do their best to add personality in spots to characters, because that's what they have to do. It's a show, right?
Yeah.
So they're trying to do their best to fill time, and that's hard. I think that's hard no matter what adaptation you're doing, but especially when you're trying to like build the personalities and represent those personalities on a screen, and you're trying to display Murderbot, who, again, in the books, really is just thinking to itself, whereas now it's, I mean, I guess it's still like we're getting the exposition just like the internally, but you know, it's just difficult to convey that on the screen. So all these things are challenging, and I like many shows, I feel like the show is still trying to find its footing.
Yeah, definitely.
But we have 3 episodes left.
Yep.
Right? We have 3 episodes left, so I'm hopeful and I'm optimistic that they're going to finish the season with a bang. Yeah,
and you know, the one other thing that I think is a little bit interesting is it feels like the humor lands with like Sanctuary Moon. And again, the things that are coming more from Murderbot's internal dialogue versus the stuff that's external, the dialogue that they're trying to create for the crew. I feel like we still don't really know any of the crew. We know Mensa a little bit, but beyond that, I feel like everybody's just kind of hiding behind these like exaggerated lines, which there's probably, you know, nuggets of their personality in there, but it does feel very over the top, and like I don't really know all of these characters.
Right. I don't really have an attachment to a lot of them. I mean, we got that snippet of Garathan at the beginning of last episode when they were playing that game, and I think somebody did comment that the game that they were playing at the beginning of last episode, that wasn't in the books, I think. Correct. And that kind of helped build the culture of their planet.
Preservation,
of preservation. So I thought, and I also appreciated that moment, but just that small snippet of Garathan's past and history, you know, really, like, we really resonated with that, and we really liked that character, and I just felt like we didn't have too much to work with going forward. We just kind of had some generic tropes, or really, you know, we knew that he disliked Murderbot or just as suspicious, maybe a little grumpy, but we didn't really have any context for why he was the way he was. And yeah, we know just that minute and a half of like serious dialogue really helped shape that character for us, I think. But and then Rathi, I think as well. I think that we can appreciate him, and he is the exception where I think that the comedy does land because you're kind of expecting it.
Because I think that's who he
is. That is who he is. Exactly.
Him as the character. It's very consistent all along with that, whereas some of the other stuff, it just, I don't know, it's not hitting the same way.
Yeah. But like I said, there's 3 episodes left, and we're looking forward to seeing what kind of situation this crew finds itself in, and how they handle that. If you're enjoying this reaction so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and checking out some of our other videos. But for now, you ready to get into this one?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Our show.
Sanctuary Moon. I'm so excited.
Be standing here, piloting this ship just days after having killed its lover.
Oh my god.
There's no way John Cho is dead. There's no way.
I would like you to decapitate me.
I cannot comply, Captain. I am unable to take any action that may endanger the life of the crew.
Say yes. And boldness is all. Isn't that something our former captain used to say, Navbot?
Sir, I do not have any memory of the previous captain of this vessel.
There's no way the captain's dead, right?
Well, they showed them getting decapitated.
Yeah. I think he's coming back, though.
And Navbot? Smile.
Hate when people tell people to smile. Do you think she's actually reprogrammed or no?
Something is wrong.
Not sure.
No, definitely not.
Be stuck in this continuum
Forever. Forever. Forever as all time passes into infinity.
Man, it's got real dark.
Uh-oh.
Gone mad! Restrain that buck!
Wow. What a move, man.
I mean, this is A-plus theater here.
Uh-oh.
When you inducted me into this hideous religion called love, you took away the only human who has ever shown me kindness.
Why am I so invested in this right now?
know.
My reason for living. Captain, smile.
Oh, I'm getting Game of Thrones flashbacks.
What do I think? I think I need to find out whether it kills Flight Officer Hordub's clans next. But I guess I gotta deal with this shit first.
Okay, so I'm thinking I go sneak in, kind of like stealth, kind of like scope it out, you know, whatever. Maybe this time I take an even larger gun just in case.
See, he just works.
He does.
It's just fantastic.
Is that a transponder?
Surveillance cameras I left in the habitat have been sending data here.
Oh, okay.
Is there anything on the playback?
I don't see anything. Maybe they didn't.
Shit. More sec units.
You killed our colleague, so let's just call it a wash. Delphal's beacon is gone too, so if you want to get off this planet, we're gonna have to cooperate. So let's meet at this rendezvous point, at this time, and we can come to some agreement.
Do we trust that person?
No.
No, right. That's the right answer.
We handled ourselves pretty well in that last punch-up.
Fuck! I felt like a warrior.
Scary. Oh, thank you.
What about this absolute maniac?
Don't call me crazy, because I will fuck you up.
Okay, this time it's working.
Yeah.
There was clearly no stopping these lunatics.
It's like, you have got to be kidding me. Just give Rathy the bigger gun.
Yeah. I think that he's going to have his moment before the end of the...
I hope he does.
He's gonna come through in the clutch when they need him the most. Yeah, this episode's already, I feel like, getting off to a hotter start than...
Yeah.
I feel like either of the last two.
Scan complete. It's safe to enter.
I'm gonna fix you right up, okay, Cuckoo? Got the painkillers right here.
No painkillers.
What?
No painkillers, please.
Oh, because he was an addict.
Oh, that's a good point.
This is how it started.
I'll just get called up by you.
Sure, I can restrain. Then, Gura.
This is the start of their beautiful friendship, and then they're going to watch Sanctuary Moon together.
With hard wiring. It's possible.
Sorry, what's possible?
Locking the central nervous system of an augmented human. To stop the pain.
Really? You are telling the truth, or did you get this off Sanctuary Moon?
No, I did not get it from Sanctuary Moon.
Oh shit. So are they going to be like kind of...
I hadn't
Linked.
seen it on Sanctuary Moon.
I wonder if Grathan's going to be able to
I'd
like...
seen it on Med Center Argala, episode 500.
I knew it. I knew it was going to be on a different show.
The last time Karathan and I were hardwired, I was totally out of it. This time, I was in control.
That is really nifty.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like we're not that far off from that as a society.
Thing was, once I started looking around in there, I got lost.
I love the others the way that one loves their own children. You I love as my equal, as my better. Why can't you love me back? Why can't you love me back? Why can't you love me back?
Hurts.
Why can't you love me back?
Did I just say something?
Nope, you didn't. Quiet, please.
Okay.
Success.
Ew.
One moment.
Oh
then-
shit, is he like...
Too late. I realized what a clever son of a bitch Karathan was.
Oh no.
Oh, it find out what it calls itself.
Yeah.
It calls itself. It calls itself. It calls itself Murderbot.
Oh.
Because it murdered 57 members of a mining expedition that it was assigned to protect.
That is not true. It's not true that that's why I call myself Murderbot.
So you killed more people than that?
I have killed people in order to protect clients. That is not murder.
It's debatable.
It is.
Just defective. A defective unit that's just one thought away from killing everyone around you.
Maybe don't antagonize it.
Garath and I had high hopes for you.
I don't think they're going to be besties anytime soon.
This is actually, like, heartbreaking.
You're kind of seeing all the progress of the season just kind of like go out the window.
Yeah.
But also, again, like, I know in the moment it could be shocking, but hopefully they take a beat and are just like, okay, let's reflect on what all the things that Sec Unit did for us.
Yeah.
In the past, like, 3 or 4 days. You know, it saved their lives multiple times. Yeah. Took a number of actions to save people, help people. I get that whatever, that revelation could be shocking, but...
Fucking bucket. We'd all be dead without it. Or I would be at least.
You saw how fast it killed Libby.
Lee BB. Did I?
Not if we get Murderbot back.
Can you stop calling it Murderbot? It's terrifying.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it calls itself, so I am just being respectful. Good riddance.
The question is, who or what is Grey Chris?
Hang on. Is that it? You're just letting it go?
It can do whatever it wants.
Yeah, but it saved our
It's
lives.
not your pet!
It's true. Massacres are bad for business. Perhaps they're not corrupt enough to have us killed, but they could have taken a bribe to cover up the fact that there's another survey team here.
Look at
There was no way off this planet without my clients. It was pretty clear that I revolted them.
Because if I'm falling for one of you and not the other, then that's a teensy bit of a problem. I'm so sorry, Penley. I'm falling in love with you.
No, but are you sure? Are you sure you got it right? Because I was.
Well, is it that unlikely?
Huh?
I'm not saying it's what I wanted, but is it that unlikely that he would be into me and not you?
No, that's.
You talk, or we could all talk, or you guys could talk and then we could talk, like a series of talks. We can talk about this.
We
can talk about this. Watching a show on the go.
I was trying to calm myself down with some of my favorite episodes, but I couldn't focus. It was like this new show, Murderbot and its selfish, ungrateful hippie clients had just taken over. Even if they were dead, I didn't have to be. I could write my own storyline. The rogue sec unit who betrayed its clients.
Oh no.
I have a plan. I have a plan.
All right, Em, another episode down. What do you think?
I think that was a lot stronger than the last couple of episodes. I think it started off on a good foot, and then that continued throughout the entire episode. I'm a little disappointed in Garathan. I understand taking advantage of the opportunity when you have it, but I was hoping Murderbot's offer to help him in that moment was going to be the start of building their relationship and building like their friendship and some trust there. Which, to be fair, Murderbot was poking around in his brain and then sort of revealed one of his very poorly kept secrets. So I understand also the kind of tit for tat there, but to see it kind of tear down the progress that they had made the whole season, I just really felt for Murderbot. It was kind of heartbreaking, that whole turnaround there.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely been taking some blows, or it's been taking some blows the past couple episodes. I get it from Grathan's perspective. They have just gone through 2 or 3 days of non-stop, like, trauma-worthy things, especially Garathan, who, 1, got shot, 2, was inches away from his captor having her head blown off, and then just seeing, like, monster after monster and dealing with all these other situations, like, I get it. And then, being made privy to the fact that this entity that is supposed to be protecting them, A, calls itself Murderbot, and B, again, we don't really know what Garathan saw, but that apparently it saw Murderbot killing, 57 people. Yeah, I get it. That's tough. But like I said earlier, I think that if they can get over the shock of the moment, right, and just reflect on just what Murderbot did over the past few days to help them out, to save them, to protect them, I hope that they would realize, like, okay, we don't know what happened in your past, but in the moment, we realize that you could, or it could definitely take them out if it wanted to.
Yep.
It's choosing not to do that. It's rogue. It seems like it wants to help, because if it didn't, it easily could take everyone else out. So I'm hoping that trust isn't fully gone.
Yeah. It also had plenty of moments where it didn't even need to take them out. It could have just gone, oops, I didn't get there in time, and they'd all be dead anyway. So yeah, no, I agree. I hope that with time it will kind of circle back to that, and they'll realize that most of what it has done, while some of it, knowing its internal monologue, is pretty selfishly motivated, it kind of has been acting in their best interest, though. And hopefully they'll be able to kind of come back around to that.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting at the end. Well, 2 questions for you. 1, what do you think about this other group? Do you have any idea what they could be up to?
No, I don't really know. They're probably with the corporation, since we've been led to believe that that's kind of the bad of the universe.
Yeah.
I don't trust them for a second. But I'm not really entirely sure what they're there for. I don't know that it would just be like the alien remnants that they've been talking about. That seems too easy. I feel like there's probably something else there, but I'm not sure what it could be.
Yeah. I'm not sure they're with the corporation just because, well, for a number of reasons. Like, if you're with the corporation, why... so those sec units, they've, like, changed the external appearance of it. Maybe changed other aspects of it. And had those sec units destroy other sec units for Deltfall.
Well, I think, wasn't there a point earlier on when they were going to buy a sec unit for this this trip, and when they were doing the sales pitch, they were talking about like new and improved models, and that's when Mensa was like, "Oh well, who's cheapest?" And then it was like Murderbot, hello. Right. So I understand your point there, but I'm not sure I fully agree because they were talking about these new and improved models, so I'm not sure if what we're seeing is just those.
Maybe, but like I think that during that sales pitch, it looked like a new and improved model in front of Murderbot, who was kind of like in the back, and I don't know, it just seems like, and I think Deltfall had. I could be wrong. It looked like Deltfall had like newer model sec units that were like white in external appearance. So I guess my point is I don't know why you would, if it was part of the corporation, I don't know why they would just like take steps to like change the appearance of it. They just seem different in some way. But
maybe
you could.
Corporation Special Forces.
They could be. I just feel like, well, it's actually where I thought you were going with it was if this other like organization was taking old model sec. Oh no, because Murderbot said that it was a newer model, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe, I don't know. They just don't feel like part of the corporation. They just feel like some other entity that is acting in their own self-interest. We just don't know why.
That's fair. I'm gonna stick with Special Forces for now.
Okay, that's fine. And then my second question to you was, at the end of the episode, Murderbot was kind of fantasizing about how we could write its own script and go rogue on its clients a little bit, and then it shows up at the end, busting the door down. Hey guys, I got a plan. Mm-hmm. What do you think he's talking about? Well, I guess, sorry, two more questions. Do you think it's now against the preservation team? Okay, neither do I. And my other question was, what do you think its plan is?
I'm not entirely sure what its plan is going to be, but I think that it is going to be pulling from the Sanctuary Moon episode that it was watching. So maybe they're going to have it fake that it like got the new combat module download, and it's going to try to infiltrate that side, acting like it's back under like a governor model.
Oh, okay.
So kind of like the one did in the beginning at Sanctuary Moon, where it was playing along that it had been reprogrammed after the decapitation incident, and it was now following this new leader. It was going to follow these orders. It was going to navigate them. So I'm thinking that they're going to probably make it look like Sec Unit or Murderbot got reprogrammed, and then it's going to go in kind of Trojan horse style.
I think you might be right. I mean, you could be completely wrong. But I wonder, like, in addition to your concept, so he's walking. We see him walking as he's cycling through these shows. We see it walking as it's cycling through these shows, and then it stops and is like, wait, what if, blah, blah, blah. So I think you're right, is that it probably got its idea from an episode or part of an episode or whatever from the shows. And I wonder if the plan is, if I can write my own script, I can go rogue on the clients, is that it does a Trojan horse in the sense that it takes the clients captive and presents them to this other team, being like, oh, because didn't when one of the other rogue the hostile sec units attacks Murderbot, didn't it tried to do something to it, right?
Yeah, it's trying to re-upload the combat module because they want to override it so that it will kill the preservation unit.
Right.
So that they can then pin it on Murderbot and say that it was just a rogue sec unit. So that's where I think that they might play some of that. Or it could take part of yours where it's like, it presents itself being like, I am so fed up with these humans. They are so dumb. They are so obnoxious. They don't trust me. They won't let me even protect them. So you know what? I'm not protecting them anymore.
Right.
Here you go. They're on a silver platter, but this is all actually planned with preservation. And then Ratty's going to come in with a big gun.
Rathy's going to come in with a big gun.
Rathy's going to come in with a big gun.
Yeah. That could be interesting.
That's when he's going to get his moment.
Yeah. Or we could both be horrifically wrong.
I think we're pretty good on that one. I think that's a pretty good theory.
You think we're good? You think it's a 9 out of 10? 10 out of 10?
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I think it's pretty good.
Guess we got 2 episodes to find out. If you've enjoyed this reaction, please consider subscribing to our channel and checking out some of our other videos. But for now, bye.
Bye.